Okay, right. So the corona curse. Why do I call it a curse? Um, let's be curse in which culture means offensive magic or battle magic. It's not the same thing as dark magic, not the same thing as black magic, it's not the same thing as evil magic. Real evil magic, we don't call it that. We just don't even acknowledge it as magic. That is bitcraft. There's dark style magic and there's light style magic, but it's still used for whatever intention that you want. As in, you can literally get a black candle to do a healing spell, or get a white candle to do a healing spell. It's up to you. Because cultures are different and everybody's not white, British, or American. Try to remember that, colonialists. In Asian culture, the color black is the one that represents innocence and holiness. And before you go, how could black be good and represent holiness? And like, I don't know, look at the night sky, maybe? Maybe look at the fact that the sky. Okay. Back to the book. So, I cast the plague that transformed the world from my prison cell when I was unfairly arrested and unfairly held in remand for 6 months. 6 months. I was on remand for my father abusing me defending myself against him calling the police on me, pretending like I'm the attacker. And I had to wait 6 months in prison with threats of keeping me there for 7 months. We're gonna arrest you for GBH. We're gonna arrest you for attempted murder. We're gonna arrest you for this, that, and the other. And they tried to threaten me, and if you this, then you're gonna be there for 7 years. 7 years! My supposed dad, which I'm still trying to work out how much influence the dark cult had on him or the Illuminati, or how much of this is his actual own corruption or like whatever. But definitely there's corruption with the officers for sure. The officer tried to hide evidence to support my story. So let's put more on the corrupt officers. They changed the story, they changed the charges, they even changed the weapon. One minute they went, you came from with a knife. The next minute they went, no, it was a sharpened nail file. The next minute they were like, no, it was a piece of wood. No, exactly. 3 different versions of the story. You're gonna tell me it took 6 months for judges to work out that this claim must not be real? They were changing their story as they were talking. So anyway, when I was in prison, I was like, I'm not gonna get treated like this by this world. I am a good witch. I'm a good person. I did good things the whole entire life, and now I must die and rot in a prison for 7 years? Fuck you. I'm gonna curse the whole entire earth until they let me out. So that's what I did. And it goes like this. Ergo, voco, citote, o spiritus, sin, et terrore, et tremore, per terriblem, vindicationes, et terra. Sanguinem terre tedique pedant, elementa mundi, telehakeas. It takes a lot to cast a spell like that. I learned it a little bit. I heard it a few times growing up. I learned some of it off Morgana from The Sorcerer's Apprentice. Then I learned it formally after I had my sort of witch powers activate. You have to meditate with the spell like every day for like a few years. So it's not something you can catch up to me with. Like, oh, I'm gonna do that. It's like, like I said, meditate every day for like 10 years. Literally years. The frequency has to set into your system. So I used to meditate with this generally, just because it's good to learn defensive and offensive magic. So remember God, there's curses in the Bible. Jesus cursed the Trinity. God cursed women. I'm still working on breaking that one. And the list goes on. And nobody sees that as evil when he does it. Adam and Eve break the rules, and what's God's love language? How does he, what's he correct? Does he use a belt? No. Does he use his hand with his fist? No. He uses witchcraft. He uses magic. He uses curses and blessings. The word curse is in there, and so God cursed the earth so that your work was hard and toiled and this kind of stuff. That's why witches grow things so easily, because we know how to do whatever Yahweh. We literally know how to decurse the ground and then bless it and then enchant it with a fertility spell and grow things more rapidly than whatever. So sometimes you have to think, maybe God was trying to teach you a lesson. Learn some witchcraft, sweetie. But whatever. Since we're all coming out with everything, we might as well. There's another one I cast on the earth called the MORTUOS MAXIMATE. You've seen it before in England. The Black Death? What was it also called? The Moors Magna? Something like this. Or the Moors... I'm really proud of my ancestors. And guess what? Don't even bother. Start trying to do that. No, that was well deserved. I remember it was some backward Catholic priest fuck that wanted to hurt witches and their familiars. So he made a rule that cats were evil and started to kill everybody's familiar. So curses don't just work out of thin air. They work on reflective energy. You have to do something to a witch for them to curse you. You have to provoke us for us to come evoke you. And that was a provocation we will not ever stand for. So what happened? We called upon the animal kingdom. We called upon the spirits and we said, absolutely make this right. And it turns out sometimes sin really is its own punishment. Because all the cats were gone, the rats could run around a little bit more. And what happened when the mice ran around a little bit more and they were infected with the bubonic plague? It was easier for it to spread. And what that means? Don't enjoy this. This is in reaction to being targeted. It's science. And that is something you can research. When they try to research what led to this, that's one of the mechanical aspects of it. They went, but there's an actual physical part of it. And they do blame the Pope from an objective perspective. If you didn't get rid of they just see it as superstition. So pretend witches aren't real. They just thought, look at what superstition did. This dumb idiot tried to get rid of all the cats in the city. And then there was an overrun of mice, and now we're all infected. Sometimes they don't understand that's how witches work in nature. Spirits will literally tell witches, it's time to take on cats more as familiars. Because they literally want us to keep the balance and enchant our cats and have them be able to actually help clean up the city. Now I want you to realize that there's a video that came out the other day from Ariana Grande and team. And in the video, it was a joke, but it wasn't a joke, was it? The senator was announcing that the city has been overrun with an infection of mice. So they're going to release 1,000 cats into the city or something like this to help with the problem. And they're hoping that it will just naturally sort of that is The Boy Is Mine. It's a music video. You can watch it right now. So you can understand that logic is not flawed. This is research we can look at. So it's not just, oh, you did this so we curse. It's like, no, what you've done has brought a curse on us. It's true, you can anger the gods. It's magic. It's also genuinely science and common sense. And you don't have to believe in the magic side. Ergo, voco, cito te, o spiritus, sin et terrore, et tremore, per terrible. The spell is called the Rising. And it's not, like I said, it's still white magic, just offensive white magic. And there's a little bit of black in there and a little bit of dark. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna pretend to be like you guys. You know, like when it's a court case and everybody has to pretend, oh, I mean, I've never done anything. It's like, no, don't be unrealistic and weird. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you I'm a perfect person with perfect things, but I don't deserve to be in jail for any of my like personality flaws or character flaws or like whatever. Oh fuck yeah, I drawn black ass magic when I need it. When people tryna fucking even in that prison I was mistreated. People actually beat me up in that prison, punched me in the face, that kind of stuff. Had to be transferred to other wings. That was before I started the curse. Not only was I in prison, I was being tortured for it, and I'm being told I'm gonna be kept here for 7 years and I mustn't draw on magic. I'm like, God, I'm not asking you for your permission to get out of here. I'm not gonna say, well, God's willing. I'm like, I'm getting the fuck out my way. So I'm using my energy, and anybody who wants to help. And it turns out somebody's not as dark as you think they are. And he sometimes does like anything to fuck with that idiot up there, and I'm like, I'm good. Get me out. I teach the spell to people. So don't worry, I'm not selfish. I'm not hoarding magic. You want a spell to help get you out of prison? Here you go. But be careful, because I am still a witch and I still keep the balance and I still keep the spirit. So I'm obviously not gonna, but it is for self-defense. So I need to be practicing this magic more, or else I'm gonna break out in hives. And if people practice magic more like this and got the darkness and the anger out of you and into a spell, and into something that can turn things well, not from hell, but ring like a bell, make all the noises. And strike all the poisons. Bring the freedom and stop the savage. And learn some magic and get rid of your baggage. You need this expression to make yourself well. Or trust me, your mind go end up in hell. This is the rising. This is the spell. This is the thing I use to keep back hell. When people try and unleash it on me, willy-nilly here and there, this is the thing I use to make things right and make things fair. Yeah. Well, the MORTUOS MAXIMATE goes like this. PHASMATOS MORTUOS. MORTEM LETALIS AFFUERTE. CIRCUMDEDERUNT. PLUVIA IGNES. TERRA ORITUR. PESTIS LETALIS. OCEANI. FLUCTUS LETALIS. VELOX. Et FULGUR. INFINITA. If you know magic, these are two-dimensional symbols that represent third-dimensional shapes in the fourth dimension. Mental constructs that you focus on to be able to draw those energies into this reality. This is the same thing as musical notes that a trained singer can look at and be able to sing. There is a lot of study and training that goes into witchcraft. It's not just this and it's not just that. Look at this book. It shows up everywhere now. You're like wondering. There's so many shows. There's the Ashmole 782. There's this. How many? I had the string on it. Just anything. I've watched like 20, 50 like movies from mainstream television to whatever. It's like they're obsessed with my book, the Phoenix Force, the It's just so you see what I mean. That's why I guard this book with my life. You're wondering like what's in there, and I'm like all my work, all my spells, all my enchantments, messages from spirits, messages from spirit guides. It's that simple. Oops. There's messages in here about people, from people. Some things that I'm supposed to be, it's kind of like a journal, it's kind of like a this, it's kind of like a that. Some of it's written in code for me. Some of it's this and it's that. But you see why. You can look at this. You can absolutely see how this could be taken by some kind of big wig director who doesn't want to give the due to the little guy, and pretend that they spent years you know that they just make shit sound special. Like they hyper James Cameron and he spent years developing his own language, and lots of witches speak in their own fucking language and develop it for years. I've been developing my own language for time. Own symbols, own everything. I'm like, it's not like that. Oops. It's like look at my place, seriously. Literal, just like it's exact like herbs and crystals and things everywhere. It's quite obvious. So when you see me saying like, oh, people were uncomfortable because they came into my room and was just like, oh my god, it's a witch and blah blah blah. And it's like technically they're not actually uncomfortable. They're super comfortable, but because of their whatever reason, they have to pretend and act like it's like this whole like. You know, like I walk with raven feathers all the time. I just pick them up off the floor. I stick them in my pocket. I love them. They connect me to the spirit animal of raven. And so sometimes they drop out of my pocket. I literally sit down and I get up and this is it. What? That represents bad things to other people. So they think me leaving a black feather is me cursing them. And me being this. I mean, I'm like, well, unless you're doing something to me that you have to worry about, it's not a curse. Things will be popular. Like Azrath, Metro, and Synthos, it'll be from Raven. I'll focus on a thing like, oh, a cartoon. Next thing I know, it becomes a show, a live action thing, and they're doing and saying stuff exactly from me. Oh no, now Raven does tarot cards and it's this thing about witch and blah blah blah, and like I'm always talking about father in another dimension, which is what the All Father or Odin or God, or it's supposed to be. It'd be better if people called God the All Father rather than God. It just makes, it's just stuff like that I'll do. It's like it puts a better psychological image in your head of like what you're trying to like do and what you're trying to whatever. See, I've a spell here to cure vampirism, and this is a representation of narcissism and psychopathy. Do you understand that there's actual psychopaths and narcissists that believe in witchcraft? And they would literally try to stop me from casting this spell or sharing it with other people because they don't want to be cured or they don't want to be changed. And I'm like, you don't have to do anything, just let the person cast the spell. You don't have to go out of your way to stop them. Like, they don't even need to be near you. Just like leave them alone. Like, let them do their magic to heal you. So annoying. See, you see what I mean? I'll create stuff like this myself. And then I'll watch TV shows and see the exact thing. Like, and I'm like, what the shit? That's like what I channeled the other day. And it's not like I do it and I see it tomorrow. It's like months out. So I know they had time to put it in a show and to do this and do that. See, they you know, I had a show with a witch called Dalano, Hollow, and it was called a witch in something about a witch, whatever. You can look, and it's like really Dalano, they're even teasing me and leaving signs and symbols, Vampire Diaries. It's the same thing. In the end, when Damon and Elena got together, what was their name? Their couple name? Delana. So we've got literally Delana and Delana here again, and then I'm Dalano. And there's Magdalena. And Magdalano. And you know that name actually literally translates to Magdalano sometimes. This is a spell to open a portal to heaven or to another world. I'm supposed to work on it. Spells take time to cast. Sometimes 20, 30, 40 years. Sometimes spells take 10 years. So you look at me, you're like, you can do it. I'm like, yeah, I can. Just like in time. Or the portals are opening and like heavenly energy seeping through more and more. That's what's causing a massive consciousness shift in society. Like for the dumb idiots, I keep trying to wipe my mind. So they even try to do that thing that they did to Morgana in where they try to disrupt me so I can't cast spells and make me look like weird to people. And I'm like, I wrote a spell to summon thought forms to cast every spell I've ever cast. Sasatutium, Ortem, Ortis. Se sanguinam extas victas. You saw that word come up from the anodynes in Ben 10. These TV shows sometimes are people's insights into other worlds. So you'll find stuff in there that's like related and you're like, wait, what? I'm like, no, I made this up. I'll literally make things up and then see it from another place. I'll make up a word. I'll just say, like, I'll make up a word called flubagoo and it means water. Like, I'll just make it up something so random. You're like, okay, whatever. I'm watching a thing and what do I see? Oh, some kind of cartoon where we're gonna go to another world and we're in this other world, like blah blah. They're like, oh, they called water flubagoo, and I'm like, what? I just, and it's like, so there must be other dimensions and other worlds with like different laws of physics and the way that things move and like whatever and blah blah blah. And I'm like, okay. And sometimes I write spells and they end up being the same thing. You might think like, oh, it's kind of obvious, and I'm like, no. It's like I'll make it up. I'll be like, this isn't specifically one of them, but I'm just using it as an example. Like I'll be like, flame. Okay, no, I want fire to be something like inflammare. I'll watch literally. It doesn't have to be something small. It doesn't have to be something big. I'll watch Harry Potter and like literally I'll be seeing people being like, Lacarnum inflammare. I'm like, what? Oh my god, that's the same thing I do to like create spirit fire in my head, huh? Or in my daydreams, like I just like do this for like whatever, and I'm like, oh, okay. And some things are a synchronicity, and some things are literally just witches ending up doing the same thing. But some of it's them stealing it from my book. They steal everything. I know that mutata percepta, all of that is permuto. If you this is the kind of stuff about the style I mean, and I don't know it because it does the same stuff. Mutata precepta, right? So it looked up permuto. That's what one of the witches in the Legends of Tomorrow uses, and it's like I use the color red to focus my magic. White, blue sometimes, lots of different colors, but I use red a lot. Red's supposed to represent love. The red just stuff that you might remember. You'll actually kind of understand if I say the primordium, the energy of like the prime, like source energy that connects all things. Like an etheric. So the energy is like blood, like what keeps everything alive. Like the blood of Christ. Mystical weapons that operate as thought constructs. Because like the blood of Christ is something that represents sacrifice or victory through suffering, through this, through that. Not because you want to suffer, but just in case someone's making you, then okay, call upon that to be able to like transmute the suffering into something big. So again, all these concepts don't have to be something that you think is real physically, but even psychologically it can help you. Look at this, it's beautiful. Beautiful. Like I love my work. I love my spells. I do this to relax myself. I do this to relax my own energies. And these are supposed to be messages not just for me but for everyone. And my mother knows my book and knows my spells and practices magic with me. And we're planning to run away together to Canada to be with my other witch aunt and witch cousin. We'd live, and by the way, these people made a TV show off us, essentially. The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina is just, you know, and that's what I mean. They have to call it horrible things. The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. It's really a show about family and witchcraft. And how not to judge. And how to love your enemies. And the girl with the aunties and the which is pretty much how I like. There. Yes, sorry. One time my spirits come and told me, you know why you're such a good healer? Because these are all representational things, personal messages that also have to do with just like me overcoming traumas and overcoming like see, empathy for everybody. We all have been through the darkest things. We all know what it's like to be at the bottom of the food chain. We all experience the same things in one way, shape, or form. These are things spirits will tell me. Like, it doesn't matter what they look like, what they pretend to be like they know. Don't let anybody call you anything. Everybody is it. In place, people in England have been wondering why it's been so sunny. I'm like, that's me, sweetie. I've done magic to change the weather for you. I keep people keep is my way of thanking you for literally letting me in, or not letting me in, but like, you know, everyone seemed to be, oh, I wish it was like I was in the south of France, and you know, I felt like we were being bullied, and they were being bullied. You know, like, everyone was showing off about how good the weather is, and oh, it rains here. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna fucking change that so you can stop fucking complaining, because sometimes it was literally a bit annoying. Like, you guys need to realize that that's why it's like you're like black. It's not like that. Sometimes witches just shut you the fuck up. I'm not doing it. Not always, but sometimes it's like, I'm not doing this to be kind. I'm not doing this because I care about the fucking shit that you're doing. Like, it's just so you can stop moaning about it. Is it sunny now? You can stop crying. Like, just say, it's like, okay, good. And if any of you realize that when I'm going through a bad time and it's hard to focus and meditate, it gets rainy and cloudy and back in. And there's witches in the world that annoys me. And when I can concentrate and I can focus, it's literally heat, blazing heat. When I wasn't distracted by constantly moving around, last year it was hot as fuck. And my witch brothers, again, not husband, like the other sibling that come out of my mommy pussy. Jordan Benjamin Nelson, for some of you to like actually remember. Who knew? Who knows witchcraft? He literally was like, Dalano, shit, didn't you say you were gonna do a spell to like turn up the heat and bring more sunlight? And like, look, it's gonna be the hottest day of the year ever in England or like whatever. And I'm like, yeah, thanks. No, I was like, yeah, thanks for noticing. And it's always, that's why someone was like, oh, you do stuff for validation. I'm like, no. When people don't believe magic is real and you're doing spells, there's no validation. From them at least, but there's the spirits. Even this TV show called The Chick. The Chick. You see how that looks like The Chick? And they'll put stuff in there. It's like, it'll be this guy, and he'll pronounce the tick like with a ch in. Like, he'll be like, I'm the Chick. Like, it's kind of like, what? They'll do stuff like that, and then I'll know, like, okay, it's totally me. So there's the Book of the Beast from Sabrina. There's the VEX from what I've basically put all the names that I've seen the TV shows made books like this and called it this. So basically at this point, any witchy TV show that's about some kind of special book, if you watch a discovery of witches, literally, and sometimes it'll be like, that's literally about him, clearly. You watch these TV shows and you'll be like, but this is like Dalano. Watch those movies and you'll see. So we've got Ashmole 87. We've got well, I guess the Encantus. Yeah, I think I did. I've had these journals my whole entire life. By the way, I'm a witch. So that's not my first book. I'll show you what I mean. And by the way, they've stolen my journals before. I once took a flight from Germany. I used to live in Germany for a few months, for a while. And I took a flight from Germany to go to Utah for my friend's wedding at the time. People keep calling me homeless guy that lives like. And for some of you who forgot, I grew up in Jamaica. I left when I was 16. Came to England at that time. So that's when I was doing life coaching and everything, and I was doing my clients and my sessions, my videos were up, and I was just making the most, living life and stuff. They actually misplaced my luggage, and literally 2-3 journals I had in there gone. When I moved from Jamaica to here, I had journals there, and they've done things to show me that they have my journals. See? Every time I make one, oops. Every time I make one, they steal it. So this is me documenting my thoughts and actions and feelings, and I keep journals. So when people try to like make me seem like this kind of person that's like, oh, what were you doing? And forget, I'm like, no, these are all mystic stuff. And I post them. I usually make posts about some stuff here on my you see how I do stuff? This is the stuff they'll teach. So I'm just this I'm just an organized person. I just like write my thoughts and feelings down, and I give them topics. I'm like, this thought is called safe to be powerful. This thought is called father healing, because I had a dream that like or I became more understanding. Pain is not failure. Goddess receiving. Okay, talking about topics. If I'm upset, I write it. I am angry at my dad for not giving me what I think he should, for not being generous with me, jealous when other people who are entitled receive what I want. I realize that my dad reflects the aspect of me that is ungenerous towards myself. So I'm showing you how I think. I don't blame other people. I practice a specific spiritual thing where I reflect and law of attraction. I'm co-creating with source, with sources, with spirits. And so it's good to get your feelings down and work them out. So you see how it ends. That's how all of these things are. The painful experience had a message for me. Let myself receive. I've been so angry at him thinking he's the problem, but he isn't. I must be generous with myself. I've also been getting messages to work with the goddess in me to receive. Isis has been popping up. How cute. So I'll get spiritual messages and things like this. And so don't put me in this. And when they arrested me one time for the incident between David, my father, and me, they would ask me these stupid questions, treat me like a child. Oh, like, oh, it's another domestic. You're just another son. You hate your father, don't you? Hey, I'm like, don't talk to me like that. I'm a spiritual healer and a psychologist with a biomedical science background. I'm a smart, intelligent, introspective, reflective person. I do not blame other people for my problems, and I don't harbor hate and anger for like all this time. I do not. Don't try to dumb me down and put me into some kind of like little boy category. They even facilitated my father's lies, or the lies of the cult at the time. Lies at the cult. And I'm pretty sure this is why I think that they're manipulating my parents. Because they can get close enough to me to give them this information. By that time, I'd already traveled the world and done everything. What did they try to do? Oh, he is this person with no job that never moved out. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? They literally lied about everything. I am this genuine international life coach at this time. By this time, I was doing interviews with BBC, with Huffington Post. Literally, chilling with spiritual teachers that were working in Buckingham Palace, that operated as secret tarot card readers for the Queen. Look, I might as well. Doing protection spells for the crown. Literally. Is this... Yes, Stuart Pearce. Like, I do know him. There's pictures of us around the internet. You don't have to pretend, Dalano. With Teal Swan, with the... There's lots of different people. I know Teal Swan has some little PR issues going on over there, but like I said, things are more complicated than they seem. And this has lots of stuff. So I don't deal with you. You can see how my style changes. Before, there's a lot of inward psychology and getting to know you and cleansing of the self and learning. Look at this, positive focus versus begging. Today I'm realizing the difference between being in a state of gratitude for what are present and currently bringing joy, creating situation of where suffering where I feel close to God in the hope of happiness in the future. Okay. It's like the difference between like being grateful, like, oh, thanks for everything, and then being like, I'm unworthy. I think it's something like that. But I'm not gonna go into it. I meet someone new, I write it down. So when these people try to get weird, like, oh, like, you don't know who I am, I'm like, no, I do know who you are because I wrote it down in my journal. Because I thought about you when I went home. Because I made a post. And I usually write positive traits about them, anything that makes me uncomfortable. I pull a tarot card. I do this. See, I'm just right here. I met Callum on Tinder. We met up yesterday and it was awesome. He is so similar to me in terms of perception and the way he sees the world. It was nice to see him again. He was we were super intimate with each other, like playful cats. Oh my God, I can't believe I said that. Like playful cats. Page of Cups. This represents a milestone in opening myself up to feel. Look, does that sound like something a basic person writes? Is that how people talk about like every now and again? Look at the shit that I write about people. And that's how I keep my memories. I pull tarot cards to remember stuff. I pull tarot cards that represent people. So I'm like, no, you're my this card. Like I remember you, this, that, and the other. I could just keep going for like. Do you see? Introspective shit. Just go. Positive affirmations. So you can see, and then after a while, things became a bit more witchy as time went on. I know this spell. And then the magic starts to like flow on. Oops. Oh, that's not when I told you. PHASMATOS, MORTUOS, MORTEM, LETALIS, AFFUERTE. CIRCUMDEDERUNT, PLUVIA, SANCTI, TERRA, ORITUR, PESTIS, LETALIS. OCEANI, FLUCTUS, VELOX, FULGUR, INFINITA. All the Corona curse again. ERGO, VOCO, TEA, SPIRITUS. SANENTEUR, et tremore. PERPETUUM, VULNERA, TERRA. Sanguinem terrete dive perpetuumt. Elementa mundi. Teneha chaos. I learned this from somewhere. It's a nice little word, Egyptian style, a bit of Mesopotamian. Yes, that's my blood. Sanguinem and MALEM. Oh, this is a blood curse spell, I think. Oh, because the police don't help you with everything, do they? So I have to resort to this. Oh my God. It's when I had faith in somebody. The spirits told me he was supposed to be some kind of spirit warrior. I was like, oh, okay. Man, sometimes the spirits are unarmed. When I used to believe I was loved. It's a brain enhancing spell. Oh. Saber Incendium? Oh, I need to write that then. A tomb open. Oh, shit. That's nice. I call these bloodborne pages. Because you channel the energy of the blood of Christ and then now when I summon blood for my spells, I do it with magic. So essentially I cast a spell, a probability manipulation spell, to cause me to bleed in a way that's like painless, or unless a sacrifice of pain is necessary, but not necessary. And then so it'll be magic. I'll literally just like clip my finger in a piece of glass by accident and I'm like, oh, perfect. Time to do blood magic. No. So no, I don't go and directly cut myself or directly prick myself. But I am thinking of getting one of those diabetes test things that just like you can like prick your finger real quick. So I can just like do a little drop of blood every time I need. That blood magic is high level witchcraft. I would suggest you just start learning magic first before that makes any sense to you. Whoops! Getting out a little bit of different energies here. Oops. Yeah, because oops. Somebody was troubling me there. Whoops. haven't looked at all this. I don't even, this is, oh, look at that. When I used to think I was loved. So you understand what I mean? Quad frustra fiat eorum malum. Ab omni noxa protegi maxima. Love this protection spell like I created. It was really nice. So some of you guys don't know, I have an imaginary friend called Nathan Summers that I use to represent God in my life. And these psychic people can see the fate, like you can see him. They're like, oh my God, what? They're like, he's a spirit, but spirits and imaginary friends are like sometimes one and the same, something like that. But whatever. The fact that these people can see shit is like really intense. I think I use this for scrying with my thingy. See if there's any. I like stuff like this. Like, you know, there's like a little pocket in the book. You know, we're witches, so we always gotta have our secret compartments. And whoa, let's see what's in here. Okay, so this is where I try to tell people, don't act like so weird with me, because spirituality is pretty popular. There's mind, body, spirit events. There's stuff you can. This is a machine that takes a picture of your aura. You know what I mean? It's like, don't try to act like I'm the only one. And actually, you can kind of see Nathan in the back there with me. See that little red? The head and the shoulder. And some call him the devil. Some call him God. I don't really care what you call him, as long as you call him mine. Oh, look at this. Oh, this is so funny. Look at this. Look at this. Remember that? For people that are wondering, there's some kind of chosen witch person I'm supposed to help the people find. I'm trying to look for him with all the amount of locator spells or whatever. I think I already found him. I think it's Summers. I think he's just not in this dimension that I'm supposed to do like the most amount of things to bring him through. And then I realized like there's a prophecy as well. I don't know if you guys believe in that. Here we've got some tarot cards that represent some different stuff. My girl Kuan Yin. Yes. It's a long story, you guys. But just know that people are willing to be criminal and break a lot of international and national laws to get this done. So I don't know. I'm magic. If you're wondering, like, where do you get this from? Magic. I'm not gonna. Where do you get things from? Like, how do you summon that box? Where do you summon the book? And, you know, why are you a witch? And why are you cool? And why are you amazing? And why do I want to hang out with you? And I'm like, I don't know, because I'm not an asshole. And people just don't usually like hang out with people. And people usually like hang out with people if they're not dicks, not assholes. Yes, you want to know what a voodoo doll looks like? To bind and trap evil, okay? When the police don't do their job. I'm joking. When good people don't do their job, I gotta do dark things, you know what I mean? No, I'm joking. That's actually super positive. Like, look, literally, look. Okay, so I made this, right? Me and my mom made this together. Because we're in a coven called, what's it called? Witches of the Sacred White Heart. Yeah. So, this is a fabric from one of her clothes. You can see, like, this is a represents vines. She's a gardener. She loves to garden. We love to garden. And this is binding with nature, with something natural, with something loving. in spiritual tradition as well, green is the color of love for the heart chakra. And this is my hair that I've used as my energy for the most powerful binding. A few pins, a few this, a few that. I've done this spell for the whole entire world. There's nobody in this world that's not protected by magic. Good and black and bad magic. You can summon a demon to protect somebody. It's your prerogative. And they will. That's your prerogative. I'm sorry. Like, if you are a witch and you're going to leave your, like, what, 2-year-old baby in a nursery or something like that, what are you going to do? You're going to call for heaven and hell. Like, make sure my baby stays safe. You can use the white magic to control the dark magic, or to not control, have a good relationship with the dark magic. Because the demon wants to feed. So as long as you promise them that they can eat whoever tries to come for your baby, they're happy with that. So, this is not something to be afraid of. And the people who knows this know what Nathan looks like. He kind of looks like Nathan. He's got this long head. I'm always teasing. Hey, he's long-headed, daddy. He's long-headed, long. No, he's my brother as well. So he's just a person. He's just cool. It's like, and he's like tall, and he's like got this like long torso as well. I didn't do this on my first. I was just like, whatever. They're like, and they tried to like separate me from him, and like, basically by like messing with my focus and stuff. So I had to do that. And there's like a couple spells written that I've stuffed inside. It actually smells really nice too. I've anointed it with like all these different oil, like rose oil, patchouli, lavender, like all this kind of like really nice smells and stuff. Yeah. So it helps bind and restrict dark intentions and shit like that. So that's what that is. That's all. So in case people wonder sometimes when I'm supposed to call the police over to my place and I feel so awkward about it, is because I don't want the thing to happen where it's some kind of unscrupulous officer and you've come over and you've just, because that's what they did to me. They were like, oh, you have a knife. And they literally confiscated my fucking kitchen knife. I told them I'm a witch and we need an athamate to represent different things. They fucking kidnap him, take the goddamn and pretend like it's like, they were so stupid. They were like, oh, we analyze